Hello, this is Charlene Campbell. It's my day to share with you, and I've been pondering this week about what would be helpful. Well, there's a few things that have come up that are really exciting. I wanted to share with you that my really good friend and one of our circle sisters, Zoe Bartholemew, who has done extensive research and self-study and taking courses, and she has come up with this how to create a birth tincture kit for birth, and it's where you make the tinctures yourself. So she's going to come up from Utah, and she's going to teach us how to make the tinctures and how to create. You use an ammo kit to put them all in, and then you've got all your tinctures all ready for your birth response kit. And so I'm really excited to announce that we're going to be doing that. That will be in September. I think the third week. I'm not for sure, but we'll keep you updated on it. So that'll be really fun. We'll be doing it here at my house in Salem, Idaho. And then we'll be offering it not live on Zoom, but we'll be offering the course later for people who want to watch it afterwards. It was just a bit interruptive for our circles to operate with the live chat and us trying to do a circle at the same time. So we've decided that we're going to do it on a Zoom so that people can actually view it if they're working, because it's likely it'll be in the morning, and we're going to do a full day. We're going to do it from starting at 9 o'clock, and then we break at noon for an hour with potluck lunch. Everybody brings something that they can share, that they know what's in it, so they can tell people what's in it for people that are sensitive or whatever. And then I usually make a big pot of soup, and David usually makes a loaf of bread. So, and then afterwards, we will have that available for people who are not in our circle. And so that'll be nice. So anyway, she's going to come up and teach us how to do everything from the herbs to the tinctures. Now, what I thought I would show you today is some of the things that I do for my own wildcrafting and also gardening, where I pick certain herbs out of my own yard, out of my own forests and river beds nearby here. The Snake River is right near me. I'm just going to show you one thing that I gathered. This is the ARNICA flowers. These are from the Snake River bed. These are the most luscious flowers, and I thought I would show you just for fun. I would show you how to do the oil, because it's so easy. You can turn it into a salve. Like what I've done is I've made the oil and let it. This is the perfect time to do it because we've got the full moon right now. And then I make it into a salve. So basically what I do is I put it in the oil, I toss it and turn it, I put it out under the moon. I let it sit for probably 3 weeks in the oil and really turn it. And then sometimes I just leave it in there if I want to keep it oil because I like the flowers. But otherwise I strain them out, and then I add just a little bit of shaved pure beeswax, and you can buy pure beeswax in little clumps, or what I like to do is buy the candles. I like to burn pure beeswax candles because they're so beautiful. The smell is just amazing. And then you save everything, and you just put a couple little chunks of that in, and you don't want to heat it up too much. You just heat it up a little bit. Now normally I use olive oil. I want to make a really light one today. This is a grapeseed oil, but you can use almond oil, coconut oil, fractionated coconut oil that's liquefied. There's lots of options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pint jar full. Just to show you a couple of other things that I want to do is I'm going to make a rose oil today as well. I don't know if you can see these, but these are from my own wild rose bushes that I have on my land. And the other thing I was going to work on making today is mullein. Now these are all wild in this area. This is mullein. It's everywhere. This is a good ear oil if you add garlic to it. It's a great ear oil for earache or waxy ears or clogged ears or allergies or anything to do with earache. This is echinacea. You can do a tincture. Like I'm waiting for David's going to get me some Everclear, which is like a, I don't know, an 80 or 100 proof vodka or something like that. And then you can just pour, you can grind up your herbs and then you just pour the tincture on top. But she's going to come teach us all the, I have not done my own birth herbs. I've done my own shepherd's purse, fresh shepherd's purse, which we have everywhere here too as well. But I haven't done my whole array of different herbs that I would carry in a birth kit, like for hemorrhaging or getting the labor going or for a retained placenta. Those are some of the big things that you use them for. But there can be other things too. Now, so I wanted to just show you, this is what the yellow dock root looks like, and it's all over the place here. I thought I had a, here, I've got a better one here that you can see better. The yellow dock. Now this is just how it looks after you slice it up. This stuff is literally everywhere here, and it's really good for replacing iron. And you can take it while you're pregnant if you are low, if you're having any kind of anemia. Now I just want to show you so you can see that, get the idea. That's what it looks like when it's pulled out of the ground. It's just these roots. These are the stalks. But when you slice them, then they look like the little rounds. That's how you do it. Okay, the other thing that I gather is the comfrey. And like I've got a lot of comfrey because I think it's great. I put it in different salves and different teas and vaginal, the vulval steams. This is my friend's vulval steam company, Leaf Root, and Leaf and Root. Caitlin Hancock does that. But I usually put a little bit of hers, and then I'll add some of my own flowers, my own roses, and other arnica, different flowers that I've got. The other thing I like to collect is rose hips. They're everywhere, basically. Just rose hips are everywhere. And, oh, the other thing I'm collecting right now, mint and red clover. The red clover is literally wild, growing everywhere right now, as long as it's not being sprayed. It's safe, the game. And then the calendula. Okay, so I am going to just, to demonstrate how simple this arnica is, so you just gather the flowers. I'm going to take you out after and show you my screens. My husband made them for me. They're just 4x3 squares out of wood with a stapled screen to it, and he put on 2 chairs, and I have 2 of them, so I can do a lot on those. This is my favorite thing to do, is gather and dry and then make things out of it. Like I make salves. I just sent 3 packages of salves to Canada, and I gave away at least 4 different salves here to people for different things. So that the last salve I made, the arnica is good for stress, anxiety, sleep issues, brain trauma, sore muscles, complex PTSD, you know, so much. It's good for so much. I seriously rub it on my temples, rub it on my back of my neck, rub it on the insides of my arms, and I start to feel calm. I mean, I have put a few, I put calendula, arnica, and some lavender in that. So, but right now, this is how it started. That's how this started, this nice salve. Like, it's a really nice thickness. It's really pretty. And it's just got a nice mild scent. Most of it is these flowers, oh, it just smells like the river. It smells like it does when you're down at the river, you know, that wonderful feeling at the river. I love going there. So I'm just going to fill this right up because I want it to be quite, you know, full. I'm going to fill this jar right up and start a new batch because I did give away quite a bit. But I mean, I gathered they're only out for like 2 weeks in the spring, and you want to get them when the flowers, if you don't get the flowers the day you see them, you probably won't get them. You know, but there could be a whole nother group of them out the next day. So they'll keep blooming and blooming and blooming and blooming until they're done, but they only are actually out for like a few weeks, maybe two weeks or so. Now they have these exact same ones up on the mountain in Canada where my son is in Penticton, and they're about 1/10, well, maybe not that much, maybe about 1/5 the size. Literally, they're little like this, and these ones were like huge, and they're giant, see? Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this oil right now. I'm just going to show you how I'm doing this. I'm just pouring it in there. I'm just going to fill this right up. We're right on the solar and moon eclipses, you know, the double eclipses. And so it's really powerful moon energy, which actually brings out the best in all the plants, because the plants love that. It's like the sun the sunflower, how it follows the sun. Well, herbs follow the moon and the sun too, I think, but they like it, and it brings energy. So especially when in these nice big full moons, when we're getting a lot of cleansing and sanctifying, I think, energy. But anyway, it's great for the time to make these tinctures. So that's already done now. It's started. I'm going to put that out under the moon tonight. Oh, we just got a little bell ringing. And then I want to do another one just for fun, because I've wanted to do this. I'm actually going to do two things. I'm going to do a witch hazel rose water, which is just plain witch hazel and roses. No water in it, because it makes it last longer. And then I'm going to, and then you put it in a little spray bottle after it's kind of infused. And then I'm going to put some of that oil, clear oil on this. And we're going to make a little bit of a rose oil. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit more of this oil in here. And so I'm really excited that we're going to be having Zoe come up and teach this, and she's really brilliant with her. She says it's not hard and to learn, and she's, you know, going to help people put the kits together if they want. She'll even help them put their own kits together at the time, so that'll be really neat. Yeah. Okay, so here we are. We're going to make the rose one next. So I've got another little jar here. Just going to make them, they're just a 1 pint. It's not too much at a time, especially when you're first making them. You want to make sure you use them. You don't want to have like too much stuff. For me, I do a lot of helping other people with things. So the rose petals are fantastic in teas. It's the highest vibration of all plants, really, is the rose. It's great for anxiety. It's great for all that affects womanhood, all the feminine things. So the vaginal vulval steams are really potently good for anything that affects your period, menstruation, fertility, postpartum, any kind of polyps or tumors, anything to do with your uterus or your ovaries, and your bladder as well. So yeah, they're very medicinal, and for overall toning of the body, as far as like teas or like salves that you would rub on your skin that gets absorbed into your body. They have one of the highest frequencies, so they vibrate. Each plant has a vibration, and rose is at the very top of all plants. So it is. It's a very, 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 very extraordinarily medicinal plant. Okay, so we've these are wild roses from my garden that I've gathered. Some of these ones are white roses, some of them are pink, and some of them are red. So there's a real combination in here. And I'm going to just pour the oil. This is really a simple thing. It's just infusing oil, and then because you lay it outside, and you can put this out. You don't want to put it in the sun for too long because you don't want the sun to drain any of the, you know, to sort of overdo it. But just a little while in the sun can be good too. And definitely under the moonlight. So we're going to turn it every day, multiple times. So we've got 2 oils. One's Arnica and one's Rose. And these were completely free in my own yard, except for the oil. Of course, you have to buy that. But, you know, Costco has good organic oil. And you can buy just big containers of olive oil. I like olive oil, grapeseed oil. Almond oil is nice. And okay, the other one that we're going to do is the mullein. Now, the mullein, you know, you probably don't want to get it where there has been any sprays on the roadsides or anything like that. So try to go inland a little bit, but we have it in our driveway. I mean, it smells delightful. You can make tea out of this just plain with these leaves, mix them with other ones. This is probably the #1 antiviral right now on this land, anywhere, and in the world probably. For sure in North America, I think it is. So yeah, mullein, it's really good for viruses. So you can actually make, one of the things I was going to say for births and for having as an emergency birth herb is sage, and you can get it anywhere. I mean, it's just everywhere here in Idaho where I am. I make all my own sage sticks. And then you can add mullein, and the other thing I've collected is the blue spruce and the the juniper. And so, you know, you can take that the different leaves, and you mix them together, and you can burn them in these sticks, and you can smudge the whole room or the whole area. And you know, a lot of viruses are you know, orally taken in through the environment, right, in the air. And so what you want to do is when you go in, that's what the Native Americans knew what they were doing when they smudged places. It's a spiritual thing. It's an emotion, you know, physically. It's also medicinal, you know, in an actual physical way, because the sage goes into the air, and then any particles in that air, it's a high antiviral is sage. So is mullein. So you can make these little sticks and burn them as well, and they can be breathed in. Okay, if someone has like a lung infection, they can be breathed in, the smoke of the plants. In moderation, of course. But anyways, I thought we would do one last one just for a demonstration so you can see how easy it is. Right now, what I have drying out on my big screens that my husband Kevin and my grandkids, my grandboys made for me, I have red raspberry leaves on one. So it's just all red raspberry leaves, which is, you know, red raspberry. It's not just for pregnant mothers. It's not just for the uterine toning properties. The properties of the red raspberry are good for digestion, for your heart, for your lungs, for your nervous system, just everything you can think of for men and women. So, and it's another thing I've gathered free in my own yard. We planted them, but you know, we water them, and so they are cultivated, but they're pretty wild. You know, the red raspberries turn fairly wild really quickly when you plant them, if they've got water and good soil. And the raspberries are just prolific this year. It's been really lovely. So, and the other one is just more clover, because like I showed you where I just have the clover, the red clover, and I just wanted to gather some with a little bit of the leaves too. So I got a few in there. I'll show you those. So I'm going to go ahead and make the mullein oil. Now, a lot of people would put these in a blender, I think, and blend it up and make it into a powder. I don't feel the need to do that. I like the energy of the shape of the plants. I like working with the plants the way I feel guided and intuitively guided to do, because I feel I have a relationship with the plants, because I feel like every plant is a spirit. It's an elemental spirit, and they can communicate with us absolutely. So this is the way I like to do it, and I like to look at them in their prettiness, because like, look how pretty when the colors, usually the oils and the it'll bring out, even the colors will become even brighter. And okay, we're gonna do one more here now. This one I'm gonna do with olive oil, because I'm doing it for medicinal inside the ear, and I'm using an organic raw first pressing of olive oil for that. And then I'm going to add some garlic, probably some cloves of garlic to this. So I'm just going to go ahead, if you can see, I've got the mullein leaves, and I'm just pouring the olive oil on top. This is going to make an ear oil. And this could be used for any rash that's viral as well, even like a yeast rash. Once I've got it set and it's taken all the properties in, it could be a couple of weeks while I leave it. And then once I've strained off the plant, and I've strained off the garlic, I've strained off the mullein, and I've got just the oil, then I can put that in these little dark blue jars so that they stay without light, and then that keeps them better. So that's what I like to do. And I think that's enough about that. Herbal medicine from Char, a little bit of my herbal medicine. But before we say goodbye, I want to show you my special, this is my little office here where I like to hang out, and that's my table over there if I have a pregnant mom and I need to help her. And if you go out here, this is my living room, and I have beautiful places where I can gather with people. And okay, so this is one of the screens where I have the red raspberry leaf. It's drying nicely on there. Just kind of, it's pretty prickly. One thing I would recommend is that you use gloves when you're working with the red raspberry, or you're going to get some serious prickles. My sister's painting. And it's a little dark in this room. Let me turn the light on. This is my front hall. And, well, you can see here, this is the other screen. And it's basically all clover. And I just have a little bit of the very, very tips, buds of the blue spruce I'm collecting. But it's mostly this, I don't know if you can see it, but the red clover. And they're drying, they're almost pretty much dry already. They didn't take long to dry. So that's the end of my sharing, and I will keep you posted on what day in September that Zoe Bartholemew is going to come for a full day. I don't know if there'll be a charge for that or not. I don't think there will be. If there is, it'll be very minimal, just to cover supplies that she shares with the group or something like that. But okay, I think I was going to leave you with one tip, because I thought it'd be fun to leave with you with one tip about how to, how to catch a baby in a low resource setting when you need to. Okay, I just flipped it open. So a retained placenta. Now I'm just going to say the tincture that I like for that, if you have to go to that point where you need a tincture, is angelica root. So she might have like a combination of things, but we're going to learn from her when she comes. So I'm just going to go through this. If the placenta takes, how long should a placenta take? Actually, they should only take about 10 or 15 minutes, and they're almost always just sitting there ready to come out. And sometimes you just need to get the mother up and squat her, help her squat, and the placenta will just come out, and then you can help her lay down again. But it shouldn't take longer than 30 minutes, really. Sometimes they do. I've heard about it. It's not typical. And as long as she's not bleeding and she's still totally fine, then things can be okay. But generally you kind of want it to get out of there. If it's not out in 30 minutes, you need to take action. So some of the action steps are: have mom get up in a supported standing squat. That means one person on one side, one person on the other side, counting 1, 2, 3, getting the mother's help and getting her up in a standing squat or a low standing squat, just over a Chuck's pad on the bed or over a bowl. And then it could be on a birth stool, because gravity is a really, really big part of birth. I mean, just really working with the elements, working with water, working with nature, working with gravity. Manual nipple stimulation, of course, and breastfeeding can really help. So anything to do with the breast being stimulated creates the hormonal cocktail to stay high, which we've talked about in past videos. And keeping the hormonal cocktail high is just really critical for keeping mom stable and baby stable. So nipple stimulation, breastfeeding, don't pull on the cord, but use gentle traction, and even the mom can use like just gentle traction so she can feel where to push. And sometimes it's just sitting right there. And then encourage mother to push when she has a contraction, not in between, like some people will have them be pushing when they're not even like having an actual contraction. It's a little bit counterproductive and can waste energy. So just wait for the mother to actually have the contraction, or help stimulate a contraction with some breast stimulation. And then have the mother feel her belly gently, or you know, feel the mom's belly while she's laying flat on her back. Feel the mom's belly to make sure everything is that she's having a contraction. You don't want to like do any massaging of the belly really deeply while the placenta is still in there. That can cause the placenta to get inadvertently lodged inside the uterus, and the uterus is clamping down too much before it's actually exited. So you don't want to be doing a lot of massage until after the placenta has come out. But in order to just tell if she's having a contraction, you can just lay your hand on her belly and you can feel it's like a hard ball, like a hard grapefruit, or harder and bigger. If some membranes stick and don't want to come out, have the mother cough while you turn and twist the placenta. So you can take it and you just kind of turn it over itself, and it turns and makes kind of a spiral like this, and it will just kind of slip out as she's coughing rather than tearing the membranes. So that's my little tip, and I'll be back next week. Take care and God bless.